Let's talk about emotional intelligence. What could that possibly mean? Well, I want to make this as simple as possible. So let's assume something. You and I are walking down the street and we see a big snake. Now let's assume a couple of things. First of all, you're a snake catcher. You do this for a living. How unbelievably convenient that we are walking down the street and you happen to be a snake catcher and there's a great big snake in front of us. Me, on the other hand, I am scared to death of snakes. They frighten the hell out of me. So if we take that concept, that two people walking down the street. Now, you and I, at exactly the same time, see this huge snake just a metre in front of us. How do you think you're going to react? You're the snake catcher. I'm thinking it'll go something like this. First of all, as a snake catcher, you'll want to identify if it's venomous. I don't know if we're in serious danger or not. You're probably more likely to assume a position that allows you to look at its eyes just to try and identify. That's if you haven't already figured out what it is because you're a snake catcher and you know all the different types of snakes. Now imagine me. I'm not fond of snakes at all. I'm very scared of snakes. And I'm assuming that if we were walking down the street and we saw a snake, my reaction would be, yeah! I would freak out. Does that sound about right? Because that's the whole conversation of emotional intelligence I want to talk about today. Two people walking down the street. We've both seen a snake through our eyeball. And as that signal has gone through our eyeball, it's gone into a part of our brain called the thalamus. Thalamus. I call it thalamus. Once that signal's been sent there, that deciphers what I've just seen. So it's deciphered the signal, it's a snake. Now we know what it is. The next part is the signal gets sent to the visual cortex to decipher, well, what do we do next? Let's have a think about this. Let's understand what we've just seen and, how we should probably react to this situation. A secondary part of that signal is sent to a place called the amygdala, otherwise known as amygdala. It's your emotional part of your brain. It's the fight or flight response part of your brain. Now, the difference between the two is that we talked about we've seen this snake, it's gone to our thalamus, it's now sent these two parts of the signal. One of them's thinking, the other one is emotional. Now, the thing with emotions is they're instant. Why is it that some people lose their shit? Explode because someone says something. This is the part of the brain, this fight or flight response, or your emotional center, that can take over. You often hear people say, I got carried away, I started saying things I didn't mean to say. That's the emotional part of the brain that's taken over. Because the visual cortex never had a chance to tell you what it thought you should do in this situation because your emotions took over. Emotional intelligence. Now, we need to understand a couple of things here. First of all, the snake catcher, you, has been doing this for a long time. You understand snakes. You don't feel threatened by it. That's why you've chosen to do it for a living. You enjoy it. Good for you. Not me. Now, I don't like snakes, so I'm not going to be that person who is thinking the same way. So mindset wise, we're already in a different world. But the bottom line is this. Our emotional intelligence can sometimes be part of the way we were brought up. It can be that, if we had parents that were a bit flighty, that can trigger how you see things in life too. Not necessarily, but it is a part of any learning process. So when we think about why people sometimes lose it, that's the reason why. They've seen or heard something, and this has happened before. For example, if you've told someone 15 times not to do something, but they keep doing it, it tends to get a little bit hot under the collar because we've seen this before. Mums and dads, if you walk past the bathroom and the kids' clothes are all over the floor and you've told them 20 times to pick it up and they're still not picking it up, you might get a little bit angry about it. Whereas if it's the first time you've seen it, hey, you lot, come get your clothes. Two completely different scenarios. And it's the same with the snake. How we react in this situation really comes down to understanding that when your emotions take over and you get this fight or flight response, your heart rate, blood pressure increases, your large muscles prepare for action. And that's why some people react the way they do. So I hope that's helped you a little bit today. It's a little bit about emotional intelligence. It's just one of the skills in the human skills family that I like to talk about. And hopefully you've got a little bit more today to help you moving forward in your leadership.